In this video, I'm going to explain lipoprotein metabolism. So blood is watery, but fat is hydrophobic, that is, it repels water. So how can fat be transported in the circulatory system? Well, it's surrounded by a coat, a hydrophilic coat or a water-loving coat. So fat surrounded by this hydrophilic coat is called a lipoprotein. There are four main lipoproteins depicted on this slide. The chylomicron is mostly triglyceride, as is the VLDL. The LDL is mostly cholesterol, and the HDL composition varies as it picks up excess cholesterol from the body. The lipoprotein carries fat through the circulatory system. It has a lipid core surrounded by a hydrophilic phospholipid and protein coat. If fat wasn't surrounded by this coat, the fat would separate from watery blood. In the next series of slides, I'll describe the four major lipoproteins, where they originate, and their functions. So dietary fat is packaged in the intestinal cells to make the lipoprotein called the chylomicron. So here you can see inside the intestinal cells, the fats are surrounded by a phospholipid and protein coat to form the chylomicron. After the chylomicron is formed, it's taken to the lymphatic system, then is dumped into the circulatory system at the thoracic duct so it can travel to the liver, its goal destination. So the function of the chylomicron is to carry lipids from digestion to the liver. On its way to the liver, it can donate some triglyceride to the body cells. When the chylomicron gets to the liver, it's engulfed by the liver cells, then dismantled into its components. The lipid components, including triglycerides and cholesterol, are then repackaged to form the lipoprotein VLDL, or very low density lipoprotein. So the chylomicrons are taken up by the liver, busted apart, and then they're repackaged to form the VLDL, which is then released into the circulatory system. The VLDL travels through the circulatory system and donates triglyceride to the body cells. When the VLDL loses enough triglyceride so that it becomes more dense, it's eventually transformed into the LDL, or low-density lipoprotein. You can think of an LDL as a VLDL that's lost a lot of its triglyceride. So LDLs are formed in the bloodstream. They're also formed in the liver when the liver senses that blood cholesterol is low. So here we have the very low-density lipoprotein, which is formed in the liver cell, donating triglyceride to the body cells. LDLs are also made in the liver. When the liver senses that blood cholesterol is low, it makes LDLs and releases them into the bloodstream. Many think of the LDL as the bad cholesterol because the LDL is a lipoprotein that can dump some cholesterol off on the arteries. So as the VLDL donates its triglyceride, and a greater proportion of the lipid core is cholesterol, is referred to as an intermediate density lipoprotein, or IDL. When the lipoprotein is 50% cholesterol, it becomes an LDL. So the IDL is the transition lipoprotein between the VLDL and the LDL. So here we have a VLDL that's losing its triglyceride, becomes more cholesterol, forming the LDL. The LDL, which is either formed in the circulatory system from the VLDL or made by the liver cells, travels through the bloodstream, donating cholesterol to the body cells. The body cells need cholesterol to use as a component of the cell membrane or to make steroid hormones, vitamin D, or bile. The HDL, or high-density lipoprotein, is made in several places in the body, including the liver, the bloodstream from other lipoproteins, and even in the intestinal cells. The HDL scavenges excess cholesterol from the arteries and the body cells and transports that excess cholesterol to the liver. So here we have an HDL taking up excess cholesterol, transporting it to the liver. When the HDL is inside the liver cell, it breaks apart, releasing cholesterol into the liver cell, where it serves as a signal for the liver to stop making cholesterol. Because of its role in controlling blood cholesterol levels, the HDL is sometimes referred to as the good cholesterol. So now you know the basics of lipoprotein metabolism, and we can talk about how diet influences blood lipid levels in class.